lady who walks around without being shady, who knows her values, who's gone through trials. Her smiles are captured from mouth to mouth. It's not the size of her thighs she worries about, but the pride she thrives to keep that drive. That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist. Ladies, can you feel me? That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist. That cinnamon twist. Ladies, can you hear me?
Well, hello. This is your girl Tasha, known to the world as the Tasha Carpenter. But everybody calls me your girl Tasha because when you hang with me, it is like you are hanging with your girl. And today, guys, in the studio, we are going to touch base on a more serious topic in the studio today. I have a special guest today. His name is Mr. Scott Madden.
Hello.
Over here to the left over here for me. What you say?
I said hello.
You got that baritone voice?
Yes.
I said baritone voice. Yes. So Scott is joining us today because he is going to be sharing
my story about having mental illness.
Actually, how he is surviving with mental illness. I thought that was very important. I asked you to share with me what you thought would be a great name, and you couldn't think of it. And I look at it that you are a survivor.
Yep, been fighting it and battling it for many years.
So, just introduce yourself. Talk to the audience. Just tell them who Scott. You know what? I allow my guests to tell who Scott Madden is, but instead I want to read something that you sent me back in August instead, if I had permission to share an email you sent me. Okay, guys. So Scott and I actually he was tuning into one of my earlier shows when I started this broadcast, and we became Facebook friends as a result of a guest that I had on the show. And we started talking in August about how it would be fun for him to come on to the show. So, because I'll tell you the story about how he got me this $140 speeding ticket later. We won't get into that right now because he joined one of my Facebook Lives on my page. But I asked Scott, if you come onto the show, what is the story that you want to tell? So I think it kind of caught him off guard. It took him maybe a day or two, but eventually on August 17th, I received this email, and I just want to read it to you guys. So he said, "Hey, Tasha, what I want people to know about me, that's a good question. Well, my life hasn't been totally easy growing up. I had speech issues, was in special ed all through school, which left me open to be bullied, and which went on until about the 8th grade. I also grew up in a house where my brother was unreal, nonstop fighting me in the house. The first woman who loved me for me, and no matter how different I was, she loved me, was my mother. She was killed in 1996. But who am I? I am just the man who my mother always told to treat females as I would want my father to treat her and another man treat my sisters. I am also a man who suffers from mental illness." This is going to answer one of my questions. I'm going to skip the next part so y'all don't know what my question is. But I'm also a man who worked really hard over the years to better myself and deal with my illnesses. I am a hard man who will stand behind what I believe in. I don't like racist people. I don't hate anyone for being different. But as my future wife told me, I am special. I do have a tender side of me that not many get to see. I'm a loving and caring man. I love people and have compassion for human life. I love kids no matter what. But I'm also a man who writes lyrics and wants to become a songwriter. When me and my sweetheart get married, I want one of my songs I wrote for her to be sang, because without her, I might not be alive today. As she smiles looking through the audience window. She doesn't know any of this. Oh.
No.
I became a shell of a man without any feelings or emotions until she got with me. I'm also a man who loves God and Jesus. I'm not a religious person at all. I believe things happen for a reason, such as me and my beautiful lady. We lost touch for over 18 years, and here we are talking about getting married. I am also a man who thinks anyone hurts a baby or child or elder should just be shot. But I'm just a simple man who has lots of morals from upbringing. Nothing special at all. I am just a man who worked hard to better myself and help others. I guess this is what I might want someone to know about me. And I'm gonna tell you, I was at a bar at the time, not drinking. It was for a school fundraiser at a bar with people doing school supplies, and I read that email on my phone, and it just touched my heart. So I had to let you share with them who you are.
Yeah, I mean, not too many people get to see that more tender side of me, growing up the way I did, and, running the streets and doing what I did back in the day, but I work hard to get where I'm at now.
Okay, so do you want to share with the audience there's different forms of mental illness. So can you share with them which forms of mental illness you're actually surviving with?
Manic depression, bipolar, PTSD, and there's another one I can't pronounce, some kind of personality disorder. Didn't realize I always had a bad temper, but after my mother got killed and then I broke my back the same year, I noticed things started to change for me, that I became more withdrawn from people, more darker. And I can remember sitting there watching TV with my ex-wife and telling her that I hate everybody, and she asked me, she's like, what about me? I said, I hate you especially. I hope you die. And still don't know why I would even say something like that. So, and I started to go to mental health, and it took me about a couple doctors to get diagnosed. I've been lucky with therapists, and the therapist I have today, she's awesome. She doesn't hold back. She doesn't sugarcoat nothing for me. And if I'm being a jerk, she tells me I'm being a jerk.
Okay, so with knowing that, before you got diagnosed, what was your feelings about mental illness? Did you take it seriously, or what was your thoughts before you realized or you were diagnosed with mental illness yourself?
I really didn't know a whole lot about mental illness. My one brother had issues growing up, and we never talked about it, and didn't really understand it all until I went to my family doctor, and he had put me on some kind of medicine to help with my moods and stuff, because I was just going off for no reason. I threw a soda can at my daughter one time, did not realize what I did. I felt bad about that, and the medicine he gave me worked too good. I was too happy. Then something had happened where I should have been upset, and I wasn't upset. So I stopped taking that medicine, and then I just continued to go down hills and get a lot worse.
Okay, so you went to the doctor and you get the diagnosis. How did you feel at that moment to realize when they told you that you're suffering from being bipolar or manic depressive?
Didn't know what really to feel, because I never knew anything about it until I started looking online and reading about it, and joining support groups and meeting other people with it. Kind of helped me to understand it better and stuff, and getting with the right psychiatrist, the right therapist who actually sat down and helped me to deal with things, and found out a lot of my issues was also from my past.
So were you receptive to it, or were you like, that's bull?
At first, it was the man attitude. And a lot of men probably could relate to this. We go in there with an attitude, because us guys, we're brought up that big boys don't cry. We don't hurt. We hide our feelings. And I went into like that at first. Didn't want nobody to know that I was actually going to mental health, until I actually ran into somebody that I knew who happened to be down there as I was leaving. And next thing you know, that like everybody knew that I was going there, and I was like, I really don't care what people think. And this one guy came up to me. He's like, start making fun of me about going to mental health, and I'm like, well, it's gonna keep me from whooping your butt. And he just kind of like looked at me and like, oh, okay, we're good then. Yeah, we're good. I could care less.
Okay, all right. That's a good point there. You know, you don't want me to whip up on you.
Right.
So how did this all, so that's more like from strangers and how they treated you, the person. Well, of course, the person that was going in there, what was they going in there for?
Right.
But they were there, right?
Yeah, they were there, and a lot of people be like, it's for different reasons why people would end up going to mental health, either the loss of somebody. But I can remember, like, I lost friends because of the bipolar. They couldn't deal with the outbursts. They couldn't deal with the real bad side of it. And I had a couple guys that was there that my ex-wife would call up and be like, come and get him out of the house, because I would destroy the house for no reason.
Okay.
Family took it a little hard. My son dealt with it pretty good. My son used to, when he was growing up, he just be like, yeah, you're right, Dad, you're right. My daughter, on the other hand, too much like me, want to get that last word in, so she had a little bit more difficult time dealing with it. But my sister was a really big support for me. Me and my dad would go back and forth arguing all the time and stuff. I think he had a little difficult time, and my ex-wife's family had a difficult time. You know, a lot of people will sit there and tell you it's all in your head. It's easy. You should be able to control yourself. Well, it's in my head, chemical imbalance, and no, it's not that easy.
So that's how the relationships with other people about it.
Yeah.
And we have a comment that's coming from the chat that says, I'm glad that you got some help. A lot of people think that mental illness is taboo, and it's not something that people want to talk about. Right. So that brings me on to one of my questions that I thought about, and this is, what kind of things have you experienced from other people that had this stigma about it? Because actually, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm your girl Tasha, right? Bam, always being authentically me. When I told some people that I was having a guest on the show today about it, it's like, are you not scared? No, I'm not scared.
No, and I had people ask me the same thing if I was going to kill them. And I was like, are you going to give me a reason to? They're like, no. Then you have nothing to worry about, But I hear some like the craziest stuff that, one guy, remember sitting in the doctor's office talking to this lady who had bipolar 2, and this other guy was like, well, y'all just don't never shut up. No, that's because of my time we don't shut up, But come to realize, a lot of people with mental illness is very talented. They got talent. Like, I write lyrics for songs and want to do that as a living and be a songwriter. I've been publishing books for my poetry. Look at the audience. Publishing a couple different books. So my first song I had recorded was done by a guy named Terry Black. He wrote the original theme song for Scooby-Doo.
Oh, wow.
So I won awards for some of my writings, for my poetries and for some of my songs. So, but yeah, you hear all kind of crazy stuff. People sit there and tell you that, it's all in my head, and they're worried about people if I'm going to kill them or not. And so it makes interesting conversations, especially when you get like on gun control and stuff.
So how do you interact or respond with that person that tells you it's all in your head, or I can't be around you because the discussion about gun control and stuff, because I guess it goes with the same, because I said, one of my questions is, how does it make you feel to know a common stigma associated with mental health involves people being harmful to themselves, people being harmful to others, or committing severe criminal acts, instead of credit to the individuals who are able to maintain a good life and make a mark on the world, like you're doing today by sharing your story. I mean, you already talked about how talented some people are and things like that. So how does that make you feel to know that it's a cookie cutter approach to somebody that has mental illness?
My thing is, I finally got to the point where I learned that if somebody doesn't want to take the time to get to know me, then if they're not going to be, I'm not good enough on my bad days for them, they're not good enough for all my good days. Don't worry, I try to educate people. I'm very open with my mental illness and stuff. And I actually been out, met other people with mental illness. I had them call me up. They're having a manic outburst where I gone and my one friend, his eyes were just pure black. Anytime I left out of there, I had him crying and stuff and had him calm down. So I just don't worry about what people think. I'm still going to I still go to therapy twice a month. I go see my psychiatrist once a month, and I stay on my meds.
All right. Now, you have a question that says, asking. Remember, guys, share and invite. Please, if you haven't already, please share and invite. This, I think that I don't think we thought about it when we scheduled this show on today, being that it's just after Thanksgiving. And it's the beginning of the holiday seasons, guys. There's a lot of people out there who are suffering, and they're suffering even more just because of the time of year that it is. So please, it doesn't cost you anything. You're tuning in. I need you to share and invite, because there's a lot of people that walk around with masks on every day. A lot of people don't have the courage that Scott has to actually let someone know that they're going through these challenges and they have these problems and stuff. There are people that sit next to you every day that have a mask on, and maybe hearing his story will give them the courage to talk about their problem, will give them the courage to, what is going on? See, all day long, I've been I'm emotional about this show for some reason. There's a lot of people who are right next to you that's hurting. Some of them is some of you guys that are watching right now, and nobody has a clue. So your girl Tasha is being very serious about this one. Share and invite. And if you want to call in, the phone number is 301-429-9247. I have a question asking, what triggers the bipolar?
Well, they, from my understanding, that everybody has it, and that sometime it could be a drastic incident in your life. Like 96 was the worst year I think I ever had. On January 3rd of 96, my mother and my aunt were killed in a car accident. In August 96, I fell and broke my back and became disabled and lost my job. And alone was hard to deal with.
I was wondering, I knew you shared with me that your mom had been killed and you had lost your aunt at the same time. I just didn't know that was because of a car accident.
Yes.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
So you believe that was the trigger for you on that?
Yeah, and and like again, some of us guys, when I wasn't able to get up and go do the things I used to, I was laid up for over about a year and a half with my back surgery. Stayed on the couch. And I got pain pills.
Guess what? My audience is trying to put you on the spot.
Go ahead.
One is asking, can you recite one of your poems for us?
Oh, Lordy. I sure can. I probably got 2,000-3,000 poems that I wrote, and probably about 4,000 different songs that I wrote. So anybody that does music, hook me up. Hit me up.
Do you have anything memorized?
I sure don't. My short-term memory is really bad.
Do you have any saved on your phone?
Oh no, my girlfriend's got the phone.
I know she got the phone. I was gonna say if we had to stop and go get it, we could go get it, but we had to.
I wrote the first rose, and that was from my mother who was killed. Talking about how the first rose of the summer and the spring, it reminds me of her and stuff, because she was my rose of my life back then. Me and her was always really close and really tight with each other, able to talk to her about pretty much anything.
How old were you when she suffered a car accident?
I was in my 30s, probably my mid-30s. And the car accident happened 3 days after my twin's birthday. And it's like pretty much can remember that day like it was yesterday. That I had a couple of my friends at the house, and I would always call my mother about 5 o'clock every day. And it got to be 5:30, 5:45, and the phone rang, and the caller ID was her name, and it wasn't her, it was my dad, and he told me what had happened, and I just remember throwing the phone and flipping chairs and tables over and getting in the corner, and my one friend took me and my ex-wife up there, and the other two stayed with my kids.
Wow. William Sheeman?
Shyman? That's my little brother.
Okay, he says, song about your mom passing. It's a no touching I will ever know.
Yep, Mr. Music Man. That's my favorite one I ever wrote, and I wrote that the first holiday season without her. I actually got the idea from that from listening to Travis Tritt's song "Tell Me I Was Dreaming."
Okay.
I won a couple awards for that, some small awards, creative writing skills and stuff. And the funny part is, I really can't spell that good.
Hey, I can't talk that good, but I'm a talk show host,
Right.
so what? They can figure it out. Everybody can decipher it, right?
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, if you guys want to know about some of his work, on the screen is shared. You can find him on Facebook under Scott Madden. It's spelled Madden. And also, he has a YouTube page, Yankee Madden 2, as well, too. So if you want to hear about some of his work, in fact, today, he did an awesome video. It was just too long, 12 minutes long, that I have personally shared on my Facebook page, Tasha Carpenter, Latasha Carpenter, which puts on the many faces of what he calls Yankee, which is your...
Yankee is a nickname I got years ago when I was in the CB radio, and it kind of stuck with me up till today. And I still have people call me that. And it's like Yankee's kind of like my other personality, more outgoing and really don't care what people think. More a little bit on the wild side, where Scott is more shy and mellow and stuff.
So who am I talking to now?
A little bit of both.
Okay, so y'all you can watch the video. Now, what was that like therapeutic? What triggered you creating? Because it is a very powerful video. There's songs that you selected. What determined what type of songs you wanted to use for that video? What determined the pictures that you put in?
A lot of pictures I actually found on the internet, and then I edited them myself and made it more of my own pictures. Songs are pretty much has to do how I felt at the time, and I did like numerous of other videos. Actually, one called Bipolar, and that got the response from that one was like unreal. It was totally the people reaction to it, especially my family, like, oh my God, I can't believe that you're open up and sharing about you being alcoholic and all this stuff about almost hurting your family, and it's like, well, if it's going to help somebody else, that's the key. I want to be there to, and let because I felt so alone by myself when I got diagnosed, and I just happened to make really good friends who helped me to deal with it and got me through it.
William is trying to not type. He's dictating, and the phone is messing up what he's typing. He wants us to know that. Okay, William.
William's my adopted little brother. I think I've been knowing him since we've been in diapers.
Miss Janita is relating to you because she says that her son is bipolar, and he's writing music, rapping, and it actually works for him as therapy.
Yeah, it's really good for therapy. My writing and stuff. I do a couple different ways. I might get my iPod out and just play my music, go through my playlist, and get my notebook, or get one of my couple mini guitars and just play and try to do that way and make sure nobody can hear me singing, especially like the dogs that keep wanting to bite me.
That's okay. Your girl Tasha can't sing you. You've been on some of my videos where I be singing. Right? That's all right. You just gotta have fun with it. So you talked about being alone. You didn't immediately. How did you work your way? A lot of people, if you tell a person that they might need to have help or you should seek help, some people get offended by it.
Yeah, I remember had a couple of people would tell me, and I used to get upset, but then I finally realized keep it real with me, with myself. and you got to keep it real with whoever that should get help, and they're going to be mad at you or whatever, but later on they're going to be grateful that you sat there and talked to them. And I'm very stern when I talk to people, and it all depends who it is that I'm talking to about this, or I'm trying to help.
So in doing that, before you got to that stage, what did you do to, like a better word, self-medicate?
Drinking. I drank a lot and got liking pills because I was constantly in pain. I had a couple friends of mine who helped me rebuild my relationship with God and Jesus, and many people don't realize how strong that is with me. I almost died numerous times. 3 years ago, I almost died 3 times in like months. First 2 times was like a week apart.
What happened?
I had a riding lawnmower flipped over on me, and I was by myself. Luckily, it didn't land on top of me. But
Ooh.
And then the second time was same. It was from the accident, and because of as much Demerol they were giving me, it could have made my heart stop. Then I had a heart attack at 49 years old.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So I told the doctors, I'm not having a heart attack at 49 years old. Sure enough, I had a heart attack at 49. I spent a week down in Washington Hospital Center.
So that means that God's not finished with you, and it's something that He got for you to do.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
we have a comment from Tracy Mary Madden. She said he was not alone. I was there for him for 34 years. His ex-wife says hello.
Yep, she was there. She took a blunt of a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, our marriage didn't work, but wish her the best.
So that's the thing. I think that some people, and even seeing in Tracy's comment there, that some people, as you said, will say, "You're not crazy. You don't need help. You're not hurting. You're not alone." These are things that people who are not suffering from illness say to individuals, I guess, in an attempt to try to snap them out of it or something. What is your advice to family and friends who think they're helping, but they're not helping?
Like with my father when he was alive, we were always told that it doesn't hurt, don't let it bother us, and you have people that say, God, let things go and move on, when it's hard to do that at times. Especially you having PTSD, it's like a movie nonstop, running in the back, in your mind and stuff. Depression would just come up and you'd be depressed and you have no idea why. I used to become withdrawn, just be by myself majority of my time.
So you know what? At this point, you talked about, I got something else to read.
Okay.
You talked about how you had this cool therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And I attempted to work out her being able to be here, but unfortunately she has appointments today. And then we were trying to do a secret. We were going to have her create a personal video, but due to traveling and the holidays and the family, unfortunately she never got a chance to get her iPhone out and do it. So instead she sent an email and asked me, could I just, it's not personal towards you, but it's advice towards people who are struggling. So she asked me to make sure to read this. So what it says here, and this is from his clinical social worker and trauma therapist, how you pronounce it?
I just called Bridget.
Bridget? Well, she spelled it Birgit. Bridget trying to mess me up. Well, you spelled it wrong. Who spelled it wrong?
I spelled it wrong. I don't know.
Okay, well, somebody spelled it wrong. Okay, this is from Bridget Locklear. Okay, she said, the holidays are a very difficult time for many people struggling with depression, anxiety, bipolar disorders, trauma conditions, and many other mental stressors. The very things that make the holidays special, like food, gatherings, shopping sprees, families getting together, laughter, noise, movies, etc., they can all be huge, torturous events for people. And then there is the expectation to just get over it, quote unquote, or to just join in, quote unquote, which can be like asking someone without legs to run a marathon by foot. We just would not do that. Yet we ask the almost impossible about friends and family members because mental illness is quote unquote unseen and not taken to be as debilitating as it can be. If you want to give your friend and family member struggling with any mental condition something for the holidays, give them the gift of consideration. Ask what they can and what they do, what is comfortable or what is not comfortable. Don't walk on eggshells, but be open and just ask. They will thank you. Also, please remember, when someone talks about suicide, do not tell them you don't mean it. Take it seriously. A mental health emergency is as serious as a physical health emergency. If someone showed up at your house bleeding from a wound, you would not laugh it off or ignore it. You get them help. You can call 911 for mental health emergencies, or you can help your loved one utilize the national hotline, which is 1-800-273-TALK, TALK. Somebody put that in the comments for your girl Tasha. 1-800-273-TALK. If your loved one has a therapist, you can contact them. They cannot give you any information, but you can give them information. If someone listening or watching is in need of help and has not reached out, please talk to someone that you trust. Call the crisis hotline or text them. There is actually a texting hotline, and I found out about this one before I read her information earlier. There's a texting hotline, and all you have to do is text the word HOME, HOME, capital letters, to 741-741 to talk to someone if you are in crisis. Again, you text the word HOME, HOME, in capital letters, to 741-741. You are not crazy, and you are not weird, and you are not damaged. You probably are in pain, and there are people who can help you through this process if you just reach out. And then she said, thank you so much. I think it's so wonderful that you are giving mental health a platform on your show. All the best. And she spelled it BIRGIT too. Bridget.
She's very awesome. I had, I take suicide very seriously. Not too long ago, I became suicidal, and my brother that I didn't really talk to actually called the cops on me, and I had a run-in with 6 cops that had me on the side of the road and patted me down, and I was glad that he'd done that, but I lost friends because of suicide. And my one friend, it was like a little brother to me, my friend Jay. He was really mentally ill, and when his wife called me and told me about him, I pretty much lost it and had a hard time dealing with that. But I lost too many friends because of suicide.
Yeah, at Verizon, we had 1 year there was just so much going on, and I had a supervisor and a member that both committed suicide. And the one thing with the young man Will, he was young. He had everything going on for him. He was buying a condo at a young age, like in his early 20s. He had one of those fly trucks. I don't remember exactly what truck it was. He worked 2 jobs. He was always bubbly. And then one morning we walk in and he had shot himself in the head. And it was like, where did this come from? And then the supervisor, he was in the military, which we have to get into talking about PTSD, because most people think about PTSD has to deal with the military, but he was in the military, and in his case, he was not happy with the mothers of his child, And for whatever reason, he decided that sitting in the garage turning on the motorcycle was a way for him to leave a letter to tell her about what she can and cannot do around her child. So you don't understand what goes on or the rationale that people have when it comes to it. I even had another member, as a union steward, you deal with a lot of stuff. Thankful for him, this young man, David, it was in the news, because of a custody battle. He felt the best way to not deal with a custody battle was we woke up to a paper where he had actually tried to drown and strangle his toddler. Luckily, it didn't work.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, and he went back to try, because it didn't work the first time. He went and told the current wife, the current lady. I don't remember if they were married or not, but he told her, "I've killed her." And she grabs their child and then goes and run to find the other child, and she's still breathing, and she's calling the police. And then he realized she's still breathing, and he tried to drown her. But it was part of mental illness that he was dealing with, depression, that didn't allow him to do that. Now he went to jail and he served his terms and he's out now. As a citizen, once again, you can survive mental illness. He's a productive citizen out right now. And luckily, God didn't allow him to finish that.
And it took me years of anger management, still therapy, still see my psychiatrist. There's treatment for PTSD that my therapist had work with me, which is really cool.
We're going to see if that's a call for us. I had to turn that down. Why it's ringing twice for us. Go ahead.
So, PTSD, doesn't have to do with the military. I was up in Baltimore one night with my friend. I call her Mojo. She's like my adopted aunt, and we're up at the Amtrak and trying to help her out.
Calls go first.
Okay.
I'll say there's a call for us. Hanging with your girl Tasha. Who do we have?
Yes, hi. I was calling in for Scott Madden.
Okay, can you turn down the volume on your feed in the background?
Yep.
And you can identify yourself and where you're calling from. Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Hi, this is Kristen Price from Waldorf.
Hi, Kristen. What comment or question
How are
do you
you
have?
doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for calling in.
My comments for Scott. Hey, Scott, it's Kristen.
Hi, girl.
I just wanted to call in and say I am so proud of you for coming on here and doing all of this and saying what you have been. Miss Tasha, I know you don't know me, but I've known Scott almost all of my childhood and my adult life from his daughter. I've hung out with his daughter, Tiffany, and never known what he was going through when we were kids, because you hide it. You make it that easy to hide it. And as I've become an adult and have a kid on my own, and knowing Scott and what he's gone through, I'm very proud of him for what he's doing now, and I just wanted to say that.
Well, thank you,
I'm
baby.
very proud of him being able to get the help and receive the help that he's needed. And it helps a lot, and it helps me understand, because my husband goes through mental illness himself. He's bipolar with manic depression, so it helps me a lot.
Yeah, so Scott is out here helping with others.
So,
helping
yeah,
others.
he is. He's out there helping others, and I appreciate that. And I just wanted to tell him thank you so very much for
You're welcome.
helping others, because it does mean a lot to me having my husband go through it.
And you know how to get in touch with me. You want me to sit down? You know how to get in touch with me, and I come down and sit down with him.
I know.
Thank you so much for calling
Thank you,
in.
sweetie.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Everyone, I see your comments coming in. I will be reading your comments. We do take priority over phone calls when they call in. I stopped it because I don't want the person to hang up. So we're going to go back to allowing Scott to address the fact that some people feel that PTSD, which is also one of the forms of mental illness he's also surviving with. is not always associated with military. So, but I will be reading your comments as soon as I let him address that.
So I was helping my friend Mojo out at the Amtrak, and she's an older lady, and I went to turn around. This guy's like right on my back, and I cocked my fist back, and I almost hit him, and I asked him like quite a few times to step back, and I told him like, look, I got PTSD. You're in my space. And first thing comes out of his mouth, oh, you're a vet. No, I'm not a vet. You don't have to be military to have it. And this went on for a good 10 minutes. And I kept on trying to get him to step back. And finally the lady at the train station told him that he would have to step back. So, yeah, it does not have nothing to do with military, you know.
It's crazy. So what started... PTSD is associated with a trauma or tragic event. So what do you contribute your PTSD to?
A lot. Been being like in school, got bullied a lot. People would walk up behind me, tap me on the shoulder, and then punch me in the face, steal my lunch money, my toys. Issues at home as a kid growing up. Just it comes back and still haunts me every now and then. The last incident with my PTSD, the one med that I was on actually got messing with my brain and was triggering my PTSD, and I was just miserable being around. She was happy when I got off that med and I started calming down more and stuff. So she keeps me in line. She does really good. So, but you know, people just got to try to understand. And usually if I get hanging around with somebody, and I would tell them, there's going to be days I might be in a mood. I might do something that's going to upset you. Just come to me and tell me, and I'll apologize. I don't use this for excuse for acting like a jerk or whatever. You know, that's why I been dealing with the anger management, the therapist, the psychiatrist for going on 18 years. And every once in a while, I might have a slip up, but it's still no excuse.
Thank you, Andre Johnson, for sharing the national hotline number 1-800-273-TALK in the comments for people. So let's see. Let me go back and read. I'm trying not to... Okay. Trust me, I know about the holiday depression. Talk to Scott many of the times about that. That's your little brother talking about that. Chrissy Price. Hey, Mama. Tracy, Mary, Madden. I know, right? He wasn't always alone. I remember you both when Tiff and I were young and over your house. Derek Terry... checking in, says, I commend anyone that seeks help or seeks to help others with mental issues. Men have serious issues with opening up and suppressing a lot of things for years that may or may not come out. As I listen to your story, I am hoping that others or someone on here will seek help because mental conditions are real, but I understand everyone deals with it in their own way. I have my way and you have your way, but as long as we are seeking help, then we will always have hope. I think most people only care about those with mental illness until it directly affects them or someone they love. Thank you for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
Sunny said we lost too many. That must have been going on during one of our comments. We have a comment from Beverly Hensley says, I'm not blood, but I've been his sister for over 50 years. There to support him, listen, be tough if he needed it, and love him no matter what. Just like he was for me. Until just a few weeks ago when I was given the kiss off because I was given the opportunity to talk to him directly, I tried to commit suicide on June of 2016, and he dropped everything to come to Tennessee to be with me. My heart is at a loss and just doesn't understand, but I hope he continues on his good path.
Yeah, we all, you know, sometimes we don't deal with things the right way, especially when it comes to mental illness and stuff. A lot of stuff, you know, for last couple of years, my father had lung cancer and dementia, and dealing with that, the separation and the divorce and moving and getting used to everything, things, sometimes we just can't, we get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed. I can't multitask for nothing. So
I think I see you multitasking, harassing people at Walmart. I don't know.
Right.
Let's keep this on a serious topic here. Let's see. Andre Johnson says calling 911 is good and bad because they don't have the training to deal with mental illness all the time. They come with guns, and a lot of times the person ends up dead.
Yeah, it's all, yeah. And it's also like I tell my therapist or my psychiatrist, and I tell my girlfriend, it's like, you got to have me a minute, I'm going to be mad, but there's like 3 local hospitals, and I want to go to Calvert. Calvert is the best place to go for mental illness and for getting help. And I'm not going to say nothing about the other 2, and now I'm going to say who they are.
Marie Becker says, we love you, Scott Madden. Stay strong.
That's one of my friend's girlfriend.
Okay, so she says, we love you, stay strong.
Love you too.
So, wow. It's too early to ask that question. What do you say to the person? I think that we have to reiterate this over and over again, that thinks that it's not okay to seek help.
If somebody, if you know the person, and I dealt with other friends who has mental illness and who was suicidal, and and I have heard comments from so many people that they're psycho and they got issues and that they need to just get over whatever and move on, and it could be worse. And, people that are mentally ill, they don't want to hear, all that, and if it's just somebody taking the time, you taking the time and sitting with the person, just let them talk, let them vent or whatever, that means a lot more. And if the person is suicidal, I do not play with suicide at all. I take it very seriously if someone's going to say, hey, I'm just going to kill myself. No, I will call 911 and get them the help they need. They're going to be mad and upset at you, but in the long run, they're going to be grateful for it.
Okay, so I'm redirecting the question because I want you to talk to the person, not the person that cares about them, the person who I am suffering from mental illness and I am scared. I don't want to go and get the help because it's saying maybe someone else. Sometimes it's not someone saying to you that you're crazy, but when someone who cares about you suggests that therapy is okay or going to seek help is okay, then you get mad at the person because you feel that they're telling you that they're crazy. So I mean, it keeps getting up into me because I have a couple of people who are feeling that way right now that I've been trying to talk to get help. So that person that can't get the courage to take that first step.
It took me to the point of me almost hurting one of my kids and stuff, and that didn't mean it. I didn't want to go, but I realized I need to go. And if you need help, and if you need help or not, and if when somebody close to you comes to you and tell you, they look, you need to go get the help. Because it's a very dark place, and the more you allow yourself to get sucked into it, and deeper, the darker it's going to get and the harder it's going to get. There's nothing wrong getting help, going to see a therapist, going to see a psychiatrist, taking meds for a little while. I went a couple of years without being on meds. And then my last outburst was it was scary. I actually went for a knife. And I was going to stab a couple of people that was in family. My ex-wife and my daughter. I was getting ready to stab them. And when I said no, luckily the one person was at the house, knocked the knife out of my hand and dragged me out of the house. And I told my ex-wife, I'm going to tell my doctor that, yes, I went for a whipping that I never done before. And she didn't want me to tell the doctor that. And, and I told her, I said, you know what, if he wants
and that was before medication or after?
It was in
medication?
between. I was on medicine for years, then they had to take me off because the medicine they put me on Depakote screwed up my gallbladder and caused other health issues, messed my teeth up. And so they had to take me off of that. Then the mood swings and depression just got really bad again. And I was like, I need to go back on meds. If you keep it real with yourself and realize you got issues, you got a problem, you know what? It doesn't matter what anybody else says. Because, people that are going to be closest to you, going to love you unconditionally. And like Christians, like one of my adopted kids, they hear like people like her, family members saying that they're proud of me, how far I came along. My one friend explained to another friend who didn't know me through the real bad periods. He said the best way to explain how I used to be, go in the bathroom, shut the door, and turn the lights off. That's how dark I used to be. Didn't care about nobody, had no feelings for nobody, and became withdrawn from everybody. And there's nothing wrong. If you need help, go get the help.
So Missy Claude-Felter says, he's been there for me quite often. I was and sometimes am one that does not think they need help.
Yeah, she's my tough one.
She's your tough one. Okay.
You see she was making faces?
So I'm a little bit, that's you. I'm going to read this comment anyway, because maybe there's something that you want to respond to this person. Seems like it's somebody that's hurt. Beverly Hensley.
Yep.
Says that multitasking has nothing to do with throwing me away after 50 years. But okay, I'm just nothing to you.
No, it's not that. She's just nothing to me. I was dealing, like I said before, I was dealing with a lot. Last couple weeks, I've been dealing with a lot. Trying to get things done to better my life and to move on and build my life up with Misty. And we were working on a few things, and it's just been one of those days where everything just got all crazy and stuff. And Beverly, I will always love you. We've known each other for years, been there for each other. And yes, I will give you a call one of these days. So, yeah, I don't deal with things. I avoid conflicts a lot of times because I don't deal with conflicts well. Because when I do get into conflicts, I'm usually ignorant about a lot of things, and I don't, and I get stupid.
So some of us have to understand that when they shut us out, the ones that want to help, or the ones that care or love about them, no matter how much it hurts us that they shut us out, it's something that's going on inside of them. So those of us who are supposed to be strong just need to go ahead and keep on a strong thing and allow them to work through it. And then, as Scott said earlier, that although they may get mad, they may push you away, that eventually when they work through everything, they're going to thank you for it. So I'm going to stand on that. So let me see. Next I have, my eyes are watering. I can't even see the words. Hold on. Okay. Erica Madden Adams says, he takes people under his wing on his worst day. God bless my uncle. I love you so much.
Love you too, baby girl.
Then we have Mr. Bill Massey, who is the restroom kit guy. Have you ever seen the restroom kit thing on my page?
Nah.
I'm gonna have to share one of those with you. He's a local veteran-owned business here in Clinton, Maryland, that provides restroom kits for people, so you don't have to go to a nasty toilet and be upset. He says we all need to talk with someone to get things off our chest. That's what friends and family are for, to support one another. Thank you.
And thank you for your service, sir.
So thank you for your service, Bill. Your therapist told you that she was proud of you for doing this.
Yeah.
She actually suggested that you should do it, or
Yeah.
did you come up with the idea first?
Well,
what made you reach out to me?
When I did my first video on YouTube, I do got 2 YouTube channels, and you can just put Yankee Madden in, and it'll bring you to my main one. When she saw the video, the first one I did, and see the response from a lot of people, and one of the biggest response, which kind of really blew my mind, was from my older brother Paul, and how he pretty much told me how proud he was, and he was very surprised that I opened up about the darker side of my life and some of the darker stuff that I've done. And and she suggests about me trying to get with Whammy, which has to do with mental health, to be a speaker for them. And then when we got talking about me coming on, I was telling her about it, and she's like, why don't you do a thing on mental illness? I'm very open with complete strangers about my mental illness, because I felt alone and didn't know what to think and how to feel. Then I had met like my friend Heather, Michelle, and Tammy. I met them online in a bipolar chat room, and we still keep in touch today.
All right. Now, Miss Marie Becker says Scott is a great resource to have, and I met him in 2010. He has helped me with Bobby relationship and many other things. I'm glad that I met him.
You say that now.
See, you say that now. So, what is it? Okay, so now that you did this, does this feel like any type of therapy? I mean, what are you feeling right now?
I feel pretty good with the response from people, especially the ones I know and all that. And the complete strangers like the guy Bill, and let people know that it's okay if you go get help, seek help. If you're depressed, people just got to realize people are depressed and they don't know why they're depressed. Just how the mind works in very strange ways. And, and I tell people with depression, if you allow the depression to get a hold of you and it drags you down, and it is so hard to get back up. And, people that don't understand the mental illness, be open-minded, learn about it. That's the big thing, learn about it.
All right, we have other comments rolling in too. Janita Hall Dozier says people need to educate themselves on mental health. It doesn't hurt to listen to anybody regardless what they are talking about. I have a heart of gold, but I do listen and give some feedback. Scott is now on here. Bob is now on here. Hey Scott, it's Bob. Typing under Marie. We met in peculiar circumstances 31 years ago. I've seen you in your good and your bad times. We've helped each other out many of times. I love you, and I always will.
That's my buddy Bob. Yeah, we met in the very particular way. The type of work I used to do.
Use a strip.
No. I did used to do high risk security, and Bob's ex-wife actually hired me to be her bodyguard one night, and I sat in front of her house waiting for Bob to come with my gun.
Oh, Bob! I like you and Bob stripped. That's a better story.
No,
they were strippers together.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't make no money. So, but no, we became really good friends, and we're still really good friends and stuff.
That's awesome, Bob. Okay, so I had to put down, a comment that, to people that I want you to know that it's okay to seek professional help. Yeah, okay.
Is the biggest thing, like I would tell my girlfriend Missy, is you got to be open-minded. You got to be open-minded to learn new things. Be open-hearted. You got to do it for you. I'd done this at first for myself. Then it was for other people. I want to become a better ex-husband, a dad, cousin, brother, friend, whatever. And I still got a lot of things to learn, because I'm always out there looking to learn new things. I had another friend of mine who got me listen to motivation speeches. And the one person I didn't think that would listen to them, and because he's kind of goofy, and I tell him that he's goofy, but I love him to death. He got me listening to motivation speeches from Les Brown, JD, the preacher guy, him and
TJ.
Yeah, I mean
TD Jakes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got hundreds of those. I can keep on my iPod and I listen to them. I put them on CDs for people that are having a hard time with life or just dealing with stuff. You know, this holiday is going to be really hard because I just lost my father probably like 4 months ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. You know, between the lung cancer and the dementia, we pretty much sat there and just watched him rot away to nothing. A lot of people don't know, but Missy was there to help me and my family out. The last day, she the one actually made the call and felt for his pulse and stuff because none of us could do it. So my family loves her to death, you know, nothing but respect for her. Holidays is hard. Don't let nobody be by themselves on the holidays. You know, I'm a big believer in that. Thanksgiving, we had some of my friends over that she met one friend one time, and the other friends she just finally met. And we're like, nobody's going to be alone on the holidays.
All right, now I'm gonna read something, guys. Control room. I know I'm a little bit over, but it's all right. Okay, I want to say because I got one last question that I hope you could answer in 60 seconds after this. Okay, it's okay to seek professional help. I had to write down what I wanted to make sure that came out of here. I want you to understand, to whoever's out there hurting, that self-medication, using drugs, drinking alcohol is not the answer. Isolation, guys, is not the answer. Trying to solve your problems yourself when you know you have a problem, there's something wrong, it is not the answer. All you're doing, I talked about it earlier, that there's a lot of people sitting right next to you masking it. You're masking the pain. It's nothing but putting a Band-Aid on it. It's not going to fix it. It's masking the pain, and you should feel okay with going and seeking help. Whether it's going to just call a hotline, take little steps, do something, don't just sit there. And the last thing, if you can answer in 60 seconds, your whole purpose, if there's one thing that you want the audience to take away from what you sharing your story, what is that one thing you want to be conveyed to them?
It's all right to get help. It's all right with mental illness. Just go get the help. You know, do it for yourself. Do it for your loved ones, your family, your friends. You know somebody with it, go up there and hug them. Me and my guys, I call my guys, we'll go up there and hug each other and tell each other we love each other. Come here, girl.
Don't touch my butt, Missy watching.
But, you know, me and my guys, we hug each other and tell each other we love each other, and we're very secure about our manhood. It don't mean nothing. We're like brothers. We're all like bros, sisters, whatever. You know, just be there for them. She's out there laughing at
I know,
us.
she cracking up. She got the delay. All right, guys. Scott, I thank you
You're
so much
welcome.
for coming out. Guys, again, go out and seek the help. To everybody who tuned in, I thank you. I hope we see you here again. I'm here every Monday, 5:30 to 6:30. And next week, guys, we have Kiss My Bumper Man in the studio. Those of you who are local know who it is. Those of you who are not local, turn in. He always says, Kiss My Bumper.
Oh, I know.
Just kiss it.
Yeah, I think I know.
Okay. Tune in next Monday, same time, 5:30 to 6:30, hanging with your girl Tasha, where we're always being authentically me. Say bye.
Peace.
Now see the cinnamon twist. It's a sexy lady who walks around without being shady. Who knows